Hi, it's Martin and Nick, and today we're going to talk through property in 9 Borough Avenue in Radcliffe. And with all that in mind, let's get into it. So the very first thing we're going to do is talk about the condition of the property. We have the Viewer videos, we have lots of them, which is a good thing. And we also have an estate agent video, which I'd quite like to look at as well. The problem with these pictures are they are very low resolution and they're pretty useless, actually. So I'm just going to skim through these. We've got this guy. I want to watch that video in a minute with you all. But overall, it looks nicely presented, but it's all in the detail. And the detail is what we're going to get into. And so just leafing through it, some slightly questionable interior design choices here. But one thing that is clear to me is that the property has had a very deep, what I call back to bricks renovation in its life, which is a good thing. And we can see all very good. Now, there are lots of things I do want to talk about. It's a decent size, which is good. Interesting layout on the ground floor. As you see, there's no space allocated for a hallway. It's just quite let's say economy on that front. So I think it's good because it makes the kitchen and lounge bigger, which is a good thing. And as you see here, we've got 3 bedrooms upstairs, so fine. Now, let's just watch this video, see what the guy says and see if it's of any interest to us. Here we are. And I'll just watch this on YouTube because I'm curious about the view count. 209 views. Okay. Okay. He's talking. I don't know if you can hear. Can you hear anything, Martin?
No.
Okay, I'll just put it on mute because we don't really need to listen to him. Nice quiet road.
Yeah, I like
reasonable parking. It's got a big front yard. Obviously, it's got the tarmac. So this was done very recently, I would say. Now, the construction is decent. I don't like all this fancy schmancy camera work, but anyway, we're trying to see what's going on with it. Cavity brick, good brick as well. I would imagine this is a 1950s house. It's had a very extensive
between
renovation.
30 and 50.
Yeah, so maybe it's late 1930s, that kind of thing. I think that's a damp-proof course. And certainly in its life, it's had a very, very thorough renovation, which is good. And then it's had a more recent renovation. Interesting how he's got double gates. So you've got the double gates into the backyard, and then you've got gates to the property. Nice. I like houses with gates, I must say. I live in a house with gates. They're electric. We close the gates. We're in our little compound. It feels nice and secure. I expect that's why buyers really clamor for this property. 200 views for this. That's quite a lot of views. All right, this is not really a helpful video. It's all kind of whizzing around. Let's go and look at the viewer stuff because that'll give us a better idea of what's going on, and then we can kind of get into the detail, as it were. All right, yeah, laminate flooring is a bit so-so, may need updating, does need updating. This is a great, if you like it. The only extra bonus, of course, would be the electric gates, but you know, can't have everything. And textured wallpaper, that looks okay. I think this was put on more as style of the time when the property had a deep renovation. Typically, properties like this will get that deep renovation maybe 40 years after construction. So let's say 70s, 80s, that kind of time. And then it would have had another more updated renovation more recently.
I want to say that, this was ex-social houses.
Was it?
Yeah.
Now, we do get people asking us about ex-social, and they go, well, is it good, bad, or whatever? And the answer is it all depends, and it depends on the style of the property, whether you can park your car outside, whether there's a mix of privately owned, social rented, whether the style of property is pretty similar to privately owned properties nearby. And assuming all of those things, then actually ex-local authority is good. And here we go. Let's have a look at that. Now, some of this is questionable. Yeah, okay, so it probably needs a bit of laminate flooring there. Not a big deal. Double glazing looks good. Bathroom looks tidy. Nice enough tiling, I think that is, on the floor.
That doesn't matter, it's good.
Pleasant tiling on the wall. Bathroom is basically sound, so that's
Yeah, just need cleaning.
reasonably nice bath. I wonder, okay, so we've got a power shower there. That's fine. Ceiling looks good. No mold. That means they ventilate the room properly. Nice. And here we go. More laminate.
If it says me, I will put carpets on the top.
Yes, for bedrooms, carpets are preferable. Double glazing looks okay.
Still New Year, Christmas mode.
Yeah.
The light. Again,
Well, I think there's some the gamer, aren't they? So hence the gear. A little bit of condensation on that. If you look there, you see there's some sort of something at the bottom, but it's not excessive, so it's okay.
Usually gamers doesn't like open the windows on the.
No.
They're in the room, but they want to be quiet, so they don't open the window. I have a friends who do that, so.
Yeah, well, I can completely sympathize. I keep the blinds down in my office just because I hate direct sunlight. I don't want to say I'm a bit of a vampire, but when it comes to actually working.
Yeah, the garden is really nice.
Yeah, it is nice. And so is the condition of this property, actually.
Another gamer.
Nice lines, no signs of issues with plaster and lath. We reviewed a property earlier this evening, and it was in an absolutely prime location, but they had not done the deep renovation that this property has had. And therefore it's £25,000 or something like that to sort out, and it's just too much. Now here we have a blocked off chimney, hence the plaster here. So just to dwell upon that for a second. So you can see the line in the middle anyway, you can see where it is. So that's okay. It's looking all right. Did you say 30s or 50s on this?
Between.
I am erring towards this being a 1950s house, actually.
Yeah, I think the same.
Yeah.
But that's how the data shows, so.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Reason being that you've got the air bricks. You should have a damp-proof course. There's no signs of retrofit damp-proofing.
Yeah, they look dry. It looks nice.
Yeah, and the thing with good bricks are you can't rebuild a house if it's got bad bricks. But you see the way you get a shine on that? This is always nice. These are good quality bricks, and the water runs off them, not into them, and therefore it means just less likelihood of damp issues and bricks decaying over time. Just
it's
a nice
72 meters square. Yeah, 72 meters square, not the best size. APC is D. It can be C. So
yeah, but they've made the best of the interior space because they don't have a hallway, and that saves a lot of unnecessary space. And there's that roof. It looks okay. I'd like to have a look at that on Google.
Yeah, I will
Google
because Google Maps doesn't show exact location when you type the address. So,
okay.
but I find it so I can share it on the show.
Thanks. So we just want to have a good look at that roof.
Yeah,
I think the roof will be fine. They are heavy slates, and assuming that they're decent quality heavy slates, they should last another 100 years. I would paint that coving white, but you know, everyone to their own, as I say, when it comes to taste.
Yeah, they put some like also some black
decent
details.
Backyard.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It is. It's a nice property indeed, and you can kind of see why it's had 200 views, because it's a difficult video to watch, the one on YouTube about this, but also it's attractive. Now, the downside of the property like this is it is an absolute magnet for owner occupiers, because all this heavy lifting has been done. they can spend more money on a bigger deposit and gear up and therefore bid higher on the property. So it's an issue. They've got a soak away even. That's really interesting. That's very well done.
Yeah, nice
soak away down by the bottom of the wall. Sorry,
I like the condition and the style of the property.
Yeah, it's really good.
And
even little details. Look at that. You see, this is nicely done. You see the little plastic covers for the drains.
Yeah,
nicely done.
Yeah, it's like a paint as well. And I think 3 or 4 kids live in the house. So
this property is going.
I think they need larger house.
Yeah,
that's why they're selling.
I fear that this property will bidding will just go a bit nuts in this, I suspect. And
I want to
let's have a look. Decent consumer unit. That's modern. I think you'd get away with that. I don't think it needs replacing.
Yeah, and I want to add that the last offer is for tomorrow for 12 April.
Yeah.
So we worked fast.
So we're going to talk about all of this in a minute, and obviously you can have a look at the videos yourself and have a play around with it. And there's one more in here, which is this one.
I think we watched. It's just double.
It's the same, but just portrait. And sorry, I'm just scanning through this because actually we've kind of seen what we need to see. Even the garden shed is nice. And look at that, even the loft hatch is done. They've really put a bit of effort into this property. Okay, let's have a look at the capital growth figures for this. And just trying to find it. Where is it? It is here. And here we are here. All right. It is generally a strong area from, oh no, let's just deal with demographics and we kind of work our way out from there. Sorry. All right. Crime, bit of crime, but not excessive. For some reason, the
property is on the in the road to the clock on the right.
Oh yeah, it's going to be what, the one down here?
Yeah. So, but in all the streets it has some crime, but
yeah,
it's I think it's
I'm
11
Super
on all. How many? 50 people house, maybe one more. 11 crimes is not a lot.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's just all the crime is connected to one point and looks at crime, but there is a lot of houses around. So I don't think it's safe. And also you have gates, so it's safety.
Yeah, the thing with this area is it's got a lot of social rented, or should one say local authority rented, but social.
A lot of, I check on the property data map what they have, and I saw that there is a lot of social house around, but a lot of them also becoming social house. So
well, this is what we need to see actually. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. Well, have you got it there? We just have a quick look.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen, so I will just open the satellite view. So the property basically is this one, the blue. We can see you have like 1, 2 house, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is sold. This is sold. So like a lot of houses started to be purchased and become social house, which is always nice.
Yeah, so, it's true. Okay, let's go back. So this is a strong area. It's a gentrified area. So in other words, the census data is probably about out of date because it is a little bit old, but generally areas don't change that much. However, when you have good local authority housing like this, it can change, and it obviously is. So this is very encouraging. Now let's have a look at the capital growth. It's really stellar. Some of the highest growth around. And I know this because it's, did I say M26? We're M26, aren't we? There's only 2% of areas that are doing more growth than this. But this is the higher end of the spectrum on growth as well.
Yeah, I want to add this. This is just because there is a lot of social houses who are selling, so that's why the capital growth is really strong. But yeah, it's strong.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
It's nice.
And so it's the overall growth numbers are being affected by areas like this because, as you rightly say, they're just selling these places off like crazy. And there's also quite a lot of social housing down here. All right, so the growth is really strong. I just want to have a quick extra look at this. Yeah, it grew heavily at the end of the last property cycle. There's a lot of it grew heavily. It didn't retract too much, relatively speaking. So in other words, if you had bought in 2003, after the crash, you'd still be up financially on this, which is good. And if we look at the more recent story, this is huge growth. And I think it's because this area is a very fundamentally good area and it's seen as value. And at this stage in the property cycle, i.e. This got lots of property cycles, 1845 to date, each arrow peak of a property cycle. We're now in the boom phase of this cycle. We are starting to see affordability drop. This is mortgage payments, as you see, percentage of take-home pay. It's a very useful indicator to look at real affordability because that's what matters, not the price. It's the cost of ownership relative to take-home pay that matters. And then there's some stuff here about likelihood of interest rate rises, which I think are relatively low, although I see some interest rate rising, but not significantly. Okay, it's let's just zoom out. So this whole area is just on fire.
Yeah,
there are a few little dead patches, but nothing major. The point is, it's the whole region of Radcliffe that's just gone nuts, to use a word. It's quite something.
Yeah, it have good connection to Manchester. So.
Okay, over to you, Martin.
So I will share my screen. And first, what I will do, I will speak about the location. As you can see here, ceiling work. But I want to say that there is no issue just because the wind, how it's coming in. Coming from.
Yeah, it is quite close to those old sewage works, I will say, and there will be
some
periods.
Smell.
Yeah, well, if you got stuff coming from the southeast, which
is this direction? Yeah, it's this direction. It is, but not really. If the property was here, I will avoid. But here, that's why I suggest. So
that estate is also really bad for flood risk, interestingly, or according to my data. But
I will show about the flood risk. First, I want to speak about this. So I want to. This is the build. This is the size. EPC is it can be C. It's D. So the flood risk. This is medium high risk, but usually the medium risk is covered by insurance, as far as I know, because we had some issue and I spoke. So I know that it's covered by insurance, so you can take mortgage. If it's a high risk, then it's an issue, then it's a problem. It needs to be double check. And when it's medium, it's okay. So you can see on the map that some of the location have high, some of them. So because the property is not. And about the coal mining issue, there is no coal mining issue around because the property is here. So
let's just dwell upon the flood risk for a minute, because it is quite interesting. We rarely come across properties with
but you can see
but it is medium risk, not high.
It's between medium and low, because you can see the color medium and low, and you can see that. So I will just like this zoom in so you can see much better. You can see that this is high, this is medium, and this is between medium and low. So that's why I think there is no issue, because I know that we had some properties where the clients directly ask the mortgage broker, and they said there is no risk because it can be covered by insurance. So that's what as far as I know.
Comparables.
Yep. There is no coal mining issue, as I said, and comparables. So I will go
Is
with the
the
newest.
property data rental comparables thing working?
No, it doesn't give any across 5 miles.
And what if you extend the
But
radius?
yeah, but it's not comparables then.
That's true. Okay.
And that's what I spoke with Leila, and she explained me about that. That you need to go maximum 1 mile if you don't have really comparables, but most of them you need to go half mile. So it's working, but not really the property data rental. So that's why I'm focusing right move.
Yeah, well, just to say for anyone watching, this is the professional version. It's Rightmove Plus, I think, or something. Yeah. But anyway, our shareholders, our major shareholders, are a company called Charles Louis Holmes, and we have the benefit of this.
Yeah, using
with them.
So yeah, so this is our property. This is 140, but it's not the same of type of property. This is 180. So I think 190 is like a little bit a lot of asking price, but
but it's in such good condition, and it's got the big plot, and it's got the gates. It's like a little castle for somebody. Yeah.
So I think that the asking price for this type of property is around 190, 180. Depends because it's a social house and so on. So, but the rent will be between 900 and 1,000, and I think it will run from 950 at least, because the market is and the rental is going. This is the minimum what I said, and the asking price is 190. So if you go by,
you know it's going to bid up to 200-ish or more.
Yeah, let's say like 200. On 200 you have 5.7. And let's assume that you need 3,000 to renovate, just painting some details, change some, maybe paint the doors or so. Just few details what you need to be done, because it's not really ready to rent. You just need some like minimal decoration. So yeah, it will give you 5.7 yield on 200. So which is always nice.
Yeah. I wonder how but the bidding is just going to be a bit insane.
And even if you go by 2.5, if you go 5.6 almost, so even up to 210 you can go, and the yield will works. But as you know, at 210 I think it's a little bit optimistic, but the conditions are really nice, and also just because it has little risk with mining. With flooding, not mining. So yeah, just because it's close to river, it's normal to have some issue on the flooding, but this is also high risk. You can see on the map. Medium risk, sorry. You can see it's medium risk, and the built house is there. So it's a new build. So if there is a risk, they will not build the new houses there, my point of view. Because look how many new builds you have.
Yeah. All right. Should we score it?
Yeah. And I really like this property just because of the new builds around. If the area wasn't good, there will be not such a lot of new builds.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, condition.
4.5.
Let's
no 4.2. Yeah, because I see the love what they give to the property. That's why I said this.
What's the location? Score?
Yeah, it's not. It's nice just because it's next to sewage work. It's not the best. If the sewage work wasn't there, I will give 4.5, just because of that, and just because we don't have for risks. I will give 3.8, just because of the risk of the medium risk
area. Nice area.
Yeah, new builds, but new builds.
So what are we saying? 4 for the area?
Yeah, 4.
Crime could be a little bit better. I'm going to go 3.9. There's a touch of it there, which isn't great. Demographics. It's an area on the rise. It's still not super duper, but it's on the rise. Capital growth is astonishing. Sell time. Quick. Rent time, quick. Okay, yield, Martin.
Yeah, it's nice. 4.
That gets above average. It's not one of the highest scores, but it's certainly good. What makes a property like this an exceptionally scoring one would be, let's find one with a very high score.
Yeah.
Here's one, just everything, all the crime demographics and all of that working, and the capital growth being stellar, etc. But this one, it's slightly let down because it's ex-local authority, basically. And
yeah, and because of the
sewage works.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, okay, let's just summarize. The suggested offer,
200.
okay.
Just because the yield will works.
Yes.
People will, as you said, it's like a own castle. They will love it. It have parking. It have gates. It have the privacy. Yeah.
Exactly. However, expect a huge interest from owner-occupiers bailing into this, because it's at that price point where first-time buyers can seriously consider it, and therefore overall it just doesn't have the kind of compromises that you need for investors to turn this into a good deal. In other words, a good compromise on a property is that it needs quite a lot of renovation, not too much renovation, but enough to put a lot of owner-occupiers off. In other words, if they know they have to spend £10,000 on the property to bring it up to good standard, well, they could spend that £10,000 on more mortgage deposit, and if they're at 90% loan to value, which a lot of them will be, then you're up to 90% LTV. Basically, you got yourself another 90 grand in purchasing power, if you think about it. So that's why you get ridiculous competition on properties in very good condition like this. So keep your hopes low, I suggest. Let us know what you want to do.
Yeah.
We'll go from there. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.